Spook. Ted Jenkin, CEO of Oxygen Financial and Morning Rush Financial expert, is here to explain this. This is interesting that it's happening to Gen Xers. They could be the first generation to actually do worse than their parents. Talk about the factors at play here.
Good morning, Jay. Yeah, I think this could be the first generation to do worse than their parents. They got big retirement challenges right now because Gen Xers are the first ones that are going to rely on their 401k to be the mainstay of their retirement plan. They're not getting those pensions like their parents did that give them fixed income and retirement. In addition, they're the sandwich generation. They're playing the bank of mom and dad right now for their adult children, and also their parents, some of them are moving in with them that they're having to take care of as well. And Jay, this is the first generation that's really carrying student debt into their 50s. So they're still paying off student loans. That's why I think some of my colleagues, because I'm in that age range, are going to have to work into their 70s.
That makes me think, because unlike the boomers, the debt from student debt is really piling up, and that could be the same for future generations as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt. This group is just way behind on average. Gen Xers say they need about $1.1 million in order to be able to retire, but they're on track to have about $660,000. And they've been hampered in part by college because the cost of college inflation has gone up double the normal rate of inflation. So it's put a damper on their finances. Plus, Jay, there's a gray cloud over Social Security. I don't think we're going to run out of money, but this generation is saying, what's really going to be there for me? What's the overhaul going to look like in the future?
You just said $1 million is what they think they need to live comfortably in retirement. I want to point out that this stat then, this is from the National Institute on Retirement Security. It says the average balance in 2020 for private retirement accounts among working Gen Xers was $130,000. That's nowhere near what they need if they want $1 million.
No, this is one of the big problems. They've been playing the bank of mom and dad for their children. Those adult children are living at home. That costs them money. Inflation has spiked up. That's cost them money. They've gone to these fancy vacations. That's cost them money. At $130,000, if you make 5% a year on your money, you're going to have $7,000 or $8,000 a year of income. That with Social Security is not going to be enough to maintain their standard of living. That's why they've got to get saving now. This 50s generation-ish, if you will, they've got to get saving now.
Are they lagging behind in savings because of that? And what do they need to do to kind of get their fiscal house in order?
Well, I think debt is front and center, Jay. It isn't just student loan debt and credit card debt, but there are a lot of Gen Xers that refinanced their mortgage during the pandemic. Good news is they locked in at a 3% interest rate. The bad news is they have 30 more years to make those payments. That means they may be making payments into their 80s. And so the question is, can you afford that debt in your 80s when you're not making that kind of income anymore? And a lot of Gen Xers pull back on the risk profile with their investments. Use the rule of 120. If you're 50 years old, subtract it from 120. That's 70. That's about how much money you should have in things like real estate and stocks. Gen Xers get way too conservative with their money, thinking, I'm going to retire in 10 years, but you need that to grow for the next 30 years during your retirement. That's a big mistake a lot of Gen Xers make.
Do they need to worry at all about Social Security drying up? I know that's been a big issue on Capitol Hill.
Listen, right now, Social Security Trust Fund says that money's going to run out somewhere in the mid-2030s. I don't think Social Security is going to go away, but there's going to be some sort of major overhaul. How that's going to affect Gen Xers, we don't know yet. We'll find out in the future, but certainly that's why there's a lot of pressure on them, that it used to be the three-legged stool of retirement: pension, Social Security, and savings. Jay, it's a pogo stick now. It's just savings. That's all that you have.
I mean, I'm laughing, but that's, I mean, dire straits for a lot of people in this situation. But great to unpack this generation. We don't talk a lot about Gen X. It's good to talk about that. Ted Jenkin, CEO of Oxygen Financial. Always appreciate your perspectives.
Yeah, thanks, Jay.
We'll be right back.